I don't know exactly which time period is going to get this note. All I know is someone needs to hear it. The date was 328/3117, or November 23rd in the year 3117. We had made so many technological advancements in the years prior that humanity had begun to run out of ideas. As inventors grew lazier, more apathetic, and losing motivation, we had reached an innovative dead end. However, humanity wanted more. But all we do is just sit here in solitude, and there hasn't even been any extraterrestrial sightings in hundreds of years. Sure, there are other humans living on other planets in the system. However, they were all humans that came from Earth. But after years of this never-ending game, joy came when some people claimed that they had research that would allow us to bend reality, which would give us the power to defeat humanity's final weakness, death. However, we needed something that humanity had come so close to achieving in the past, but just couldn't. There had been many attempts before, but now that we're in the era we're in, we may be able to grab onto this chance. We're talking about the God particle. The God particle, as the researchers theorized, could be used to bend matter, to heal cells, to create matter, to create life. To clear up any confusion, I'm not talking about the Hadron Collider God particle that was discovered last millennia. I'm talking about a God particle that was conceptualized and even discovered. But it was too risky to obtain. The reason is that it was discovered when a black hole finished going through the process of Hawking radiation, and for a few split seconds there were traces of the God particle. However, this information was discarded when people realized that it's impossible to be near a black hole, and much less preserve a particle. But that was in 2975. It's been nearly 200 years, and it's time for humanity to give it another try. And that's when the Edbeadius project started. Many researchers, I being one of them, were ecstatic about this prospect of bringing in more spice to this life, and maybe just needed a chance. I was working out how we were going to safely create a black hole without it expanding too much. Others were researching how to stabilize and preserve a particle in order to safely duplicate it. Everything was going smoothly, and the government was putting a lot of money into this because a way to cheat death was something desperately needed. But then, on the date 227/3118, a few months after we started this project, I was having the average day. I had breakfast and showered in this marble and granite house of mine. I headed to the Edbeadius lab. The lab isn't really anything special, just the husk of an old NASA lab, an organization that broke down centuries ago. There were lots of arches, a circular glass building, lots of pillars, classic lab stuff. I went to the research wing when we heard loud noises outside. It's wind. Powerful winds. Ones that could have come from a massive helicopter landing, and thus many people investigated. We saw a spacecraft, not like ours, which were just rockets. There was a huge circle with a line pattern all over and glowing blue hovers on the bottom. Upon seeing this, the military personnel stationed at the lab aimed their guns at whatever it was. "Step out of the unauthorized vehicle now, before we tear you to shreds," the commander said. The aliens complied and set down the landing gear, and we saw what they were. They were tall, wearing elegant robes, all of them a different color. Their neck and body were thin with small limbs and a head, all of which were grey. Their eyes were beady, black and large, and it sent a chill down my spine to make eye contact with them. But the worst part is that the expression worn on their face wasn't malice or joy or anything we would expect. It was somber, as if they had something to tell us that would be a mental burden for the rest of our lives. It's not something anyone would expect from a first encounter with creatures like these. The tallest, presumably the leader, spoke. "We know of your plans, and we have come as a warning. What you are trying to do will bring nothing but sorrow and destruction. If you even survive, you'll succumb to the insanity of the fact you murdered trillions." The commander spoke again. "Well, how the hell do you know that? What is your proof?" "Our proof is that we tried the same experiment once before. However, if you don't want to believe us, we will leave the ship here, in case you need to escape." Then, as fast as the light, they shined and disappeared. We all thought it was an illusion. However, the ship was still there, ready to be used. This incident put a blow into the motivation for this project, as we don't know whether what they were saying was the truth. However, we carried on trying to work it all out. There were no more encounters with the species, and it was all just an endless cycle of work. But after years of research, on the date 115-3121, we finally discovered a way to get access to the God particle. We needed a particle collider and a quantum stabilizer. The particle collider was needed to create a black hole that would quickly dry out so that it wouldn't destroy the entire Earth. A quantum stabilizer isn't a device, rather any material that can stabilize a particle. We decided on supernova gas. So we spent a few months getting all the resources we needed and built the particle collider. It was ready for activation when suddenly on 324-3121, the species contacted us again as a holographic projection on top of the ship. "This is your last warning. We truly suggest you do not activate the device unless you want to suffer." Then it immediately cut. Then I heard the collider activate somewhere in the lab. I didn't think much of it, as I knew, after this, we would be gods. As I entered the room with the massive navy blue collider pipe, I saw it. Looks like they completed the process. The God particle was fusing with supernova gas, and was creating a show of beauty that no words can describe. It was a dazzle of colors and lights that brought tears of joy to everyone in the room. Then it began passing through people. The old people turned to young, the sick to healthy, the lame to walk. And it passed through me, and I felt ecstasy, joy, and excitement beyond anything I could have imagined. Then it stopped. We all looked at it in the middle of the room. Then it collapsed in on itself and turned into the one thing we feared the most: a black hole. I ran immediately. Others weren't as lucky. They stayed paralyzed in fear. Maybe tried to run, but got sucked in. For some reason, instinct was telling me to run to the ship. When I got there, someone else was coming too, but they didn't make it in time. I jump-started the ship and tried to flee, and I was able to outrun the black hole. The adrenaline rush stopped, and I sat, rapidly breathing. I had survived, right? I'm still alive, and I should be happy. Then, as I sat looking through the silver room with the neon lines, that no one else survived. I was the last living human. 27 years have passed. I stopped looking for the species that gave me this ship. Fuel ran out 2 days ago. Food and water ran out. Well, there was never any food or water. I'm immortal now. Whatever the God particle was, it has granted me eternal life. I came to the sickening realization a long time ago that if I was immortal, everyone else in that room was too. That means that currently they're in that black hole, being contorted into all sorts of shapes and sizes, and in eternal pain